We go. Okay. Good day, my darling oddities, and welcome back to Outer Space. Oh my goodness, we had a heck of a lot of stuff to deal with right before the stream. Discord does not like Josiah, but we are here. We have made it. This is broadcast from outer space, and I am your host, Otter. The T is silent, and of course, here with me is my guest for the day, Josiah Bones.
Lovely to be here, Otter Dad. I just had a heck of a time. Boys burnt a Spanish galleon. The smoke's getting into the internet machine. It's just not pretty.
Normal things. That's why he's kind of appearing to us as a floating square in space. Which I also just realized I should go ahead and share my screen with you, my dude, so that you can actually see the set, so to speak. So,
oh yeah.
Gonna come to you in just a second once I get my act together. All right, you should now be able to actually see the set. And I think I'm live.
And I'm trapped in the Phantom Zone. You'll love to see it.
All right. Hello, Ryko. Welcome. Yes, we had a little we had a rocky start, so there was no waiting period. There was no welcome. Hello, Chaos. Welcome to the Chaos. We are here today with Josiah Bones. Josiah, for anybody that doesn't know you, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Josiah Bones, a 16th and or 17th century skeleton pirate VTuber. I'm pre-debut, and I'm currently locked out of my Google account, which is locking me out of my Exeter account. So not going to see a lot from me right now, but I'll be showing up and popping ups in here's and there's on other people's things for a little while.
And Josiah has you've been working on this for a while. When was the last time I had you on the show? This is not your first episode.
April
of this year?
Yeah.
Bro, time is weird. I don't know. Josiah has been here before, so we are gonna skip most of the usual interview parts. But briefly, for anybody that is watching now or in the future, would you like to describe the kind of things you will do once you are able to do them?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dad.
You're welcome.
The things you would expect to see on my channel, if and when it can come up, if my machines don't keep trying to kill me, they've done it before, will mostly be strategy video games. I'm a big fan of Field of Glory Empires. They have a newish one featuring the Norman Conquest, and I've discovered Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon, which is Panzer General, but second Armageddon. I get to play Panzer General against orcs.
Very nice, very nice. And
so
this is a fantastic segue. So Josiah is here because I cannot remember when or why, but I was talking about how little I know about Warhammer lore, and Ryko said, well, I know somebody that knows something a little bit about Warhammer lore, and here we are. So Josiah's gonna...
I think that's a fair explanation. A little bit of something.
Yes. So Josiah is going to go ahead and give us the crash course in Warhammer lore. I am going to interrupt. I am going to ask questions. Anybody in the chat that has questions is free to ask them as well. But Josiah, take us away.
All right. So to set a few things up, first thing to remember always is that Warhammer 40k is a setting, not a story. So just about anything could happen in it. Almost anything, any sort of type of story is possible in that setting. You could do a time loop story. They could theoretically do a romance. There is actually something of a crime drama going on. There's all sorts of stuff you can get. I have a quotation which appears in quite a few books, actually, which I think helps to set the mood quite a bit. Mm-hmm. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never truly die. And even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the demon-infested miasma of the warp, the only route between the distant stars, their way lit by the Astronomicon, the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will. Vast armies give battle in his name on uncounted worlds. Greatest among his soldiers are the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, bioengineered super warriors. Their comrades in arms, the Legion, Imperial Guard, and countless planetary defense forces, the ever-vigilant Inquisition, and the tick priests of the Astronomicon, to name only a few. But for all their multitudes, they're barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat from aliens, heretics, mutants, and worse. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. So that's usually how every Warhammer 40k book begins.
That was intense.
Yeah, everything is turned up to 11.
Yeah, I'd say so. Now I understand the term grimdark, at least.
It's right there, third paragraph.
Yeah. It's kind of always floated on the edge of my psyche. You exist on the internet, you see people reference it all over the place. But yeah, so there you go. All right, very good.
People can hear us, right?
Yeah, I think.
We're at hellos and scuffs.
Hello? Can you hear me? Wait, can nobody hear us?
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know if people are listening. And
type in the chat.
Y'all hear us?
I'm not doing that narration again.
Okay, good. They can hear.
Oh.
Yeah. The hello part was just at the very abrupt beginning, so that those were old chats.
Okay.
Okay. Just thank you for confirming, Raiko. Honestly, the way tonight started, we wouldn't be too surprised. And yeah, that narration, neither of us is living through that again.
No, yeah.
Well,
it's 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, 3 very dramatic paragraphs of that. So, all right. I mean, can't hear you do the speech again. Yeah. You played your hand, Raiko. Okay.
Got you.
So, okay, but back to Warhammer. All right, so that was a very dramatic entry to it. But tell us, I mean, like, if you were to give somebody the crashiest of crash courses in Warhammer, what would be your highlights?
So the crashiest of crash courses is essentially the idea that every tech optimist future, so like kind of Fantastic Four or Star Trek's a good example, that sort of thing happened. It kind of started happening about 7,000 years ago. Or actually, no, not 7,000 years ago. In the year 7000 AD. And then kind of started to break down because as people get the idea of tech worship and everything can kind of get better all the time, it created certain ideas in people's heads about how to do things. Also, aliens are real. Also, demons are real. Also, psychic powers are real. And this all comes to a head in a few interesting ways. Somewhere in the 20,000s millenniums, 2 really bad things happen. One, the Men of Iron revolt. Who are the Men of Iron, you ask? This is the term for every thinking machine, every robot, every AI that can truly be said to be able to think and reason for itself. And it's a nasty revolt because every tech advance that has been used and made by humanity is now being turned against humanity by the things that make them work to begin with. And then, after all that is dealt with, after every known abominable intelligence, as they're called, is wiped out, broken, their disks thrown into a, into a magnet and then into a microwave.
As you do.
Or shot into a star, or, and this is a real thing, a time-displaced wormhole, black hole gun, not wormhole gun. That's an orc weapon. Then, on the other half of the galaxy, it gets worse because the Eldar have an epical crash out, and this screws up everything.
Can you define epical crash out for me?
Accidentally birthing a demon god into existence that damns their species to hell for eternity and also rips open the fabric of space-time and screws up faster than light travel for everyone for 5,000 years.
Oh, epical crash out indeed.
Yeah. Epical crash out. Not even generational. Epic defining. So those two things happen basically one after the other. So this leads to all that tech optimism goes straight down the drain. There is almost no, system-to-system travel, let alone planet-to-planet travel, until, the year 30,000 AD-ish, or M30, to use the imperial dating system, when the Emperor, on Earth, finally gets things together enough, builds his superhuman armies, retakes Earth from itself, retakes the solar system from itself, and goes about reestablishing human dominance and human connection amongst the stars, with lots and lots of war. This will itself lead to more war, because part of the Emperor's whole thing is Operation Make Sure That Thing the Eldar did doesn't happen here. And to do that, his plan is to destroy religion. Because, oddly enough, this is where things kind of break a little bit.
Oh, a
because
little bit.
The Eldar didn't birth that demon god through religion. That demon god they birthed, Slaanesh, was birthed by the epical degeneracy. I keep using epical a lot. I liked it the first time. I don't like it so now. But
and we've gone over the cap of epical.
Yeah. Basically, a whole galactic civilization. In fact, the galaxy-defining civilization, really. I used humanity as a benchmark. The Eldar have been in charge, essentially, of the galaxy since 59 million BC. Went just straight into sex and drugs and rock and roll. As hard as they could. And the Eldar. I'm going to explain the Eldar a little bit. They're space elves.
Oh, of course they are.
They're, in the name.
Hi, Dreamer.
And that means they're super long-lived, experience things harder, and basically are all, to an extent, psychic. And this affects things like the warp, which is what most, except for Eldar faster than light travel, is based off of, is essentially going into a parallel dimension, which is based off of emotions and energy, and just going through that so that you don't have to go through normal space. I'm fucking that up. I know how to do. Yes, tremendously so. Huh. essentially, as long as nothing bad happens in the warp, it might be the fastest. Second fastest. Stargate is the fastest. Like, faster than light in a thing. People who measure this can declare me wrong. In fact, I would like to say just about any real lore expert is going to get this right. I'm just a fan who's been doing this for a while. But generally, that's how that works. So there's a small problem. Due to events that have happened. Due to events that have happened throughout time, the warp is not just an alternate dimension of emotions and energy affected by psychic minds from the mainland, like the real universe. We use real space. It's essentially become hell.
Naturally.
You've seen it. Yeah. You've seen Event Horizon?
I have not actually, but I have seen things about it. So I'm familiar with the concept.
Yeah. So basically, the easiest way to get from point A to point B in the Warhammer 40k universe, unless you're the Eldar or the Necrons, is to Event Horizon through hell to the next place. And most of the time, you're going to be fine because once people figured out, oh, that's where we're going, they developed a thing called a Geller field to get through it. Unless you're orcs, at which point it's go into the warp with a lot of orcs and scream really loudly and either beat up the demons or make the demons too scared to actually fight you.
I think I love the orcs.
Orcs are fun. So, thing with orcs is that they are a species in flux because they're not a natural species. Orcs were invented by the Old Ones, which is its own thing. The Old Ones are the first, they're like the first living spacefaring species that anybody knows about. And almost every species of Warhammer 40k is tied to them one way or another. Either they created them or they were uplifted by them, and the orcs are no exception. In fact, they're almost the rule, other than the fact that the Eldar is the rule on that. Orcs used to be a thing called the Krork, who were created by the Eldar created by the Old Ones, not the Eldar, to be their self-perpetuating soldier species. And they got used in the War in Heaven, fighting the two and eventually the Necrons. And then, after the War in Heaven, and the Old Ones died, and the Enslaver Plague that happened, and a lot of the species got killed, and a bunch of Psykers got killed, and like 90% of the galaxy was trashed, the Krork began to sort of degenerate into being orcs. And that's interesting because orcs are also a self-perpetuating species of green angry fungus people. Technically, they're a fungus. So that's why if you see orc art in 40k or stuff, there's usually mushrooms around them.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. Orcs, grots, Gretchen, snotlings, and squigs are all part of this sort of self-perpetuating orcoid ecosystem, or orcosystem, if you will. And the other interesting thing is that it's all tied together by a psychic field created by there being a critical mass of orcoid species that then move it towards the next stage of creating stronger and tougher and technically smarter angry green fungus people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
I chose the wrong stream to get supremely high before.
Oh boy. So
wow.
yeah. If you have like actual questions, or if you've heard about characters or specific wars, we can go into that or whatever.
Can you just like briefly explain to me the war in heaven? Like,
okay, I did name drop the war in heaven.
yes.
So in brief, the war in heaven is the backstory for the backstory of Warhammer 40K.
Okay.
So I have
It is
9 points. Unless I repeated 0.9 points. I have 12 points because I've repeated points 9 and 6 on my outline.
My dude brought a thesis statement.
I was really hoping to get to the Emperor on this thing. I really was.
If you want to, no, you know what? If
no,
you want
no. Things have changed very recently that redefined what we can think of as the Emperor, so it's actually good that I wasn't able to get there because I am not caught up on new lore that dropped last month.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, in brief, point 1, the creation of the universe. It was generally regarded as a big mistake by everybody.
Word.
Point the 2nd, we have the birth of the Catan. I'm going to spell this out for you because the word Catan out for you.
Yes.
Because it also has a secondary pronunciation that might be intentional, but it's not ever the one they go with officially. Catan is spelled C''T''A''N. Alternate pronunciation of Catan is Cetan or Satan. Those are fan pronunciations, but they're pretty accurate, hint given.
Right.
So, the Catan were the first known sentient organisms in the galaxy. They began their life cycle as plasma-sucking entities leeching off of the very first stars, and would eventually, through weird star magic and magnetism, start to develop into actual thinking organisms capable of moving from star to star, with only really a major sense as being hunger and kind of being mean. So that's the Catan. To start with, they're going to come back in this story. Then, point the 3rd, the Old Ones. We've sort of explained them. They're the first known space-traveling civilization, and the first ones to really put colors on the map. If you have a map of the galaxy in your mind, start coloring in a section of it. Pick a color for the Old Ones, put it somewhere on the map. And this name comes from the Eldar. Call them the Old Ones in their legends. We do not know their official name for themselves, unless it's somewhere and I missed it. They were incredibly intelligent, they're very wise, they lived a really long time, and they're very powerful psychic species. They also had a tendency to think that life in general just has meaning. So they would try to actually create and spread life or uplift species. So, they're not super benevolent because they're super long-lived. They have a tendency to think in geological space-time rather than, the actual timelines people live. But compared to... you always got to put things in comparison. Compared to other factions we will see, the Old Ones can be said to be a bit more benevolent than others. There's a lot of comparative morality in this setting, because everybody does. It's really good and it's really useful. Otherwise, you're going to be just shut into a never-ending doom spiral, because everybody does often horrifically immoral things in Warhammer 40k, or they have done it, or they will do it.
Or they are
It's just a
currently
question.
doing.
It's just a question of why, when, did you have another choice, and that sort of thing. Comparative morality. Not saying the old ones look like saints, but especially the other ones we're going to see soon enough, the old ones look like saints. Because, okay, while the old ones are doing their old one things and figuring out psychic stuff and building warp gates where you can literally walk through the warp, which isn't hell yet, or building the webway, which is another thing I'm not even going to essentially explain, but okay, you remember the extra doors in Doctor Who?
No.
Okay.
I only really know New Who, so not even.
That's a New Who thing. That's 11th Doctor. There's the third door in a bunch of the rooms. It shouldn't be there. It doesn't mind.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Okay. You know how the TARDIS is bigger on the inside?
Yes.
That's probably wrong. In fact, I'm thinking of something else that's going to come up that's probably a lot closer than the TARDIS, but imagine just there's another, you could put down a door and then there's just a house with a bunch of rooms. That's kind of like the webway, and you can go through it and you can go other places.
Okay, all right. Portable doors.
It's not, I don't even think portable doors is that. Well, the Eldar you can just build a webway portal, so maybe portable doors is good. This is why I try to avoid talking about them to establish that it's there and it's going to be important, but it's another travel means that isn't the warp. That's going to be important.
Thank you for the fish.
Yeah. Okay. So they both have somewhat mastery of the warp and have built their own non-warp thing. They like building things. They like making stuff. That's the old ones. Also, they're probably either reptiles or frogs.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird because one of their sub-races, the Slan, are frogs, but not the old ones. They want to tell you that the Slan are not the old ones.
Okay.
And they're frog guys.
And they're frogs.
Yeah, I know. I'm not explaining anything super great, but keep this in mind. Okay. Now we're going to get to number 4. The Necron tier, or as we like to call them, poor, dumb bastards. So, the Necron tier are a humanoid race that comes to being billions of years before the dawn of man, giving you an idea of kind of where we're at. They're born in the ass end of space called the Halo stars, which is just, it's a nasty place to be. A lot of the stars there are unstable. There's weird gravity anomalies. Star Trek The Next Generation would love this place because they'd be able to look at weird nebulas and weird stars all the time and look at things with their tricorders and stuff. But it'd be a terrible place to live and an even worse place for your species to evolve. Because the Necrons evolve a genetic predisposition towards cancer and naturally short lives.
Lovely.
Other diseases too, but I'm pretty sure cancer is the main one because their main star is super radioactive and unstable. This leads them to having 2 things. A hierarchical society obsessed with mortality, and a scientific culture obsessed with advancement and figuring things out from the ground up. So once they have mastery of an idea of the physical world, they really have mastery of it. So they can create just terrifying weapons, advanced metals, a thing called necrodermis, which is almost a self-healing metal, which they use to make slow boat starships to protect them against hazards and radiation to get off their hell world and out into space. So take your mental map, take a nasty looking green color and put it in like the northeast. Put like a little bit of it in the northeast of space there. And that's where the Necrons here are. They could basically do almost anything except for fix their short lives. For some reason, that's really not something they seem to be able to do. And even if they can, the ones that seem to be around for a very long time don't have very pleasant lives. Yeah. Because the older you get, the sicker you get. Yeah.
And round and round and round you go.
Yeah. But they managed to establish themselves over across a quite large area of space on again, we're talking about geological timeline here. The next jump from here is going to be 60 million years, like 60 million BC, basically. So they have spread out to a point where they're now no longer unified. The Necron species, their general areas are in groups called dynasties under the various lords of the Necron tier. There is technically a group head of the species called the Triarch. Should probably be the Triarchy, but they like arc in their names. So there's 3 of them that are supposed to act as one. That's why it's Triarch. I don't know. The technical guy in charge of this is called the Silent King, because he's not allowed to talk in legislative sessions, but he's the more important one. So generally I'm going to say the Silent King did this, the Silent King did that, because inevitably the Silent King is the one who makes the decision and then has to cajole the other Triarch members and then the rest of the species into doing it. Necron tier began the Wars of Secession, where the dynasties are all fighting stuff, things they need, and also, more importantly, whose hat is the shiniest.
Of course.
I'm not saying that's explicitly what they were fighting over, but as we will come to know the Necron tier and then the Necrons they become, that might literally have been what they were fighting over. They will, when they have no other choice, when they have anything else to do, they will bicker and fight over the most minor things if they have the thought ability to do so. Which is funny because that's more of an orc trait. But anyway, there we go. So this is going bad. These wars just keep recursing because the losers of wars then have reason to start a new war, and the winners of wars have more resources to start the next war, which then inevitably more Necrons die in. The theory goes that the active Silent King at the time had realized that 1 or 2 more generations of this go on, the Necron tier will basically die out as a species, which is a no-win situation, even if you are the guy in charge of her. Because the cat herder does not want the cat herd to die, even if he hates the cats sometimes.
Right.
So, at the same time, Necron tier space is starting to abut into space controlled by species that are descendants of or subjects to the old ones. So, and they're hearing a bit about each other. And first of all, Necron tier hear about the old ones, and their whole thing is they're offended by this. Old ones don't seem to die. They have geological timelines. They're able to plan things out and then act on their plans because they're going to be alive and in the same level of health to do it when they do it. And at least at one point, I'm not sure if this is current lore, supposedly, at one point, the Silent King or the Triarch essentially asks the old ones, hey, can you fix us? And the old ones say no for whatever reason.
Of course.
Which is, that sounds like a pretty valid cause for war, but when I did a cursory check to make sure this was true or not, I didn't find that. So, not saying it's true, not saying it's untrue, They could change the lore tomorrow. This week, there was a pretty major change to lore that happened. This is what happens when your company hates you and wants you to die and is always releasing new product. But either way, they now have the Triarch and the Silent King. The Silent King develops a plan, bullies the other two Triarch members, or convinces them, or they all think it's a good idea and they talk about it. But anyway, they have a plan. We get to start a war with the old ones. It unites our species because we can talk about the old ones, and it's going to annoy them to the point where they're going to want to beat them up, with the idea of beating the secrets of immortality out of them, or at least beating the secrets of us not killing ourselves out of them. So it's on. The war in heaven commences with the declaration of war, or maybe a sneak attack. We are talking about details from like Codex Necrons and Codex Eldar from over years, released over a decade. So, details will shift and specific things don't happen.
Fair enough.
So we are now on possibly my first 0.6, the actual war in heaven. Okay. The Necrons learn very quickly that the old ones share. They have the warp gates, they have the webway, they have the psychic powers, and they have their subspecies, their children. I keep saying subspecies and subjects. There really are more like children. I'm going to do 4 here.
Oh.
But there's more. There's more canonically, and there's more like just the idea there's more. But we're going to do 4 here. There's the Eldar, who are the space elves that are going to inherit everything after them. Spoilers.
Right.
There was a war in heaven. That's not the right way to do that. I'm supposed to sound like Microsoft Sound. But anyway.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
There's the Krork, who are, again, the soldier species that are going to devolve into orcs. At this point, think of like an orc if he went to grammar school and also was better at every sport and military thing than an orc, and might be the size of a giant. And there's billions of them.
Really?
There's the Slan, who are possibly the old one's first creation, and essentially they're like child partners in Empire. They're like, probably if you ever saw an old one, you'd see a bunch of Slan with him, and some Eldar, and a bunch of Krork in the background. Hopefully we're never going to actually see that, because that would probably be a freaking disaster. Nobody really trusts GW to handle this very well. If it was like put in like the foreground, like we were going to do an edition set in the War in Heaven, that probably wouldn't end well. And there's the Jokero. I'm going to briefly explain the Jokero. Imagine an orangutan. Okay. Got the orangutan in your head.
I sure do.
Okay. The orangutan has robot hands.
Okay.
The orangutan has robot feet.
Why not?
Is he wearing a monocle, or is it a jeweler's loop? One of his eyes. He's got a gun! Okay. Okay, yeah. Jokero are one of those weird old Warhammer 40k things that they kept up forever because they're so weird.
Yeah.
The Jokero... Yeah. They're also genius, savant, like, engineers and weaponsmiths, and, like, they can micronize things really well. They make a thing called digital weapons, where they, can make like an anti-tank gun the size of your ring. Like the gem on your ring, you push it, big laser beam comes out, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't even know if Jokero are technically sentient. But They probably are because they can build and operate spaceships.
Fair.
They don't seem to speak, but that might just be like the old orangutan joke from like the people who originally found orangutans, that orangutans were people and as smart as people, and they could talk, but they just didn't because otherwise people would make them work. So, them, and a bunch of other stuff, right? Now, the Necrons are hitting hard. They're hitting hard in these fights because they have terrifying weapons. They've got Gauss flares, which just like, it's a death ray. In fact, most Necron weapons are some sort of creepy death ray.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, your average Necron is a cancer-ridden space Egyptian. They have a very Egyptian aesthetic.
Okay. All right.
And they're fighting a variety of alien soldiers all working together under the heading of like psychic super reptiles.
Of course.
So they do really badly. They do so badly they're being pushed back, not just even into their original zone, they're pushed back to their original planetary system. And then the old ones just leave them there. Because like they don't actually want to wipe out the Necrons, they just want to beat them up enough that the war ends.
Right.
The Necrons are freaking seething over them.
As you do.
Necron tier. They're still the Necron tier. It's such a bad naming convention.
If there's a test on this, I am borked.
Trust me, I would probably fail actual test. But like, this is what I've got from my stuff, and I hope I'm doing a good job. And they start fighting each other again over how did this go this wrong, and hey, I want that hat. And also, they start looking for solutions once they realize that not even once they realize that blaming each other will get them nowhere. The Silent King starts looking for solutions because sooner or later everybody's going to start looking, hey, wait a minute. It's going to been a different Silent King at this point, because even with how badly they lost, they didn't lose in a Necron lifespan. But the guy who maybe got saddled with this, yeah, he starts looking for solutions. When you know it, this is when the Catan re-enter our story. Because as they've been soaking up those sweet, sweet cosmic rays, the Catan have sort of started developing thoughts, feelings, anger, and malicious gnawing hunger. And the Necrons are putting out Necrons here are putting out so many negative waves. Just negative vibes going everywhere. But also, a whole empire's worth of people have been just sandwiched into essentially one stellar zone. So they're just able to feel and taste that, hold on, there's a big thing going on there. So the Catan all start heading towards there. And the Necron figure out and somehow are able to make contact with them. And somehow the Catan are able to talk back. And somehow bargain number 1 is struck. The Catan managed to make the Necron tier think that they're their original gods and appear like the Necron tier gods did. And then they convince the Necron tier that they will help them out if they build them bodies out of that necrodermis stuff. Now, so they do. Necron tier are still really, really good at engineering and science and stuff. So yeah, the Catan finally experienced what it's like to live, what it's like to walk, to breathe, to flex. They finally done it. They can be bees. They can do. They can be bees. And they could also feed off the excess life force of the Necron tier around them, who are just worshipping them as walking, living, breathing, speaking gods.
This has gone places.
Yeah. Oh, it's about to go even more places.
Oh, goody.
One of the Catan Mefretan? Weird alien name. I'm going to call him by what that name means. The Deceiver comes to the Triarch with a solution to seemingly every problem the Necrontyr have ever had. If they rejoin the war in heaven, they'll help them out in the war, and before the war even starts, they're going to solve their mortality problem. The Necrontyr just have to build enough metal bodies, and the Catan will teach them how to go into those metal bodies.
Right, okay.
A mass biotransference trademark of their species. Every Necrontyr, man, woman, and child, one day is going to cease to be and become something else. Sounds great, right?
Lovely.
Undying, super powerful robot body. Except, as they found out very quickly, you lose your soul.
Ah.
Yeah. So, also, like, just about everybody kind of lost something else. Like, and your soul part also seems to include, like, a decent part of your personality. And in general, like, a statement from Necron fans explaining this is that nobody really survived biotransference, but there's ones that are doing a good job of acting like it. Because most of the Necrons are just sort of semi-mindless automatons that occasionally have a flicker of that they had in old life.
Oh, delightful.
But other Necrons, including the Silent King, he's stuck with this now, do have most of what they were like beforehand. If you don't, well, another thing about the Necrons that they'll find out. You need a hobby. If you're immortal, you need a hobby, or else you'll go insane. And then your hobby drives you insane. Like, one of the biggest examples of this guy is the guy named Trazeen the Infinite, who's an archaeologist. He was an antiquarian before biotransference. After this, he now has all these, like, the ability to just science on the go in his mind, the ability to teleport, the ability to pull things out of, Tesseract labyrinths, which are essentially like TARDIS. Time freeze, I pull it out, it's bigger on the inside. He can do that with whole armies. Okay. He now has to deal with the fact that he is essentially stuck cataloging every single thing that happens in a galaxy where things never stop happening. Because cataloging things is how he prevents himself from going insane. In one of the novels, The Infinite and the Divine, he's talking with another one of his guys, one of his clerks, basically, and he's talking about his wine collection. And the clerk's like, we should just get rid of the wine collection. You don't look at it, you just look at the balance sheets, you can't drink it. And Trazeen says, of course I can't drink it, it's far too valuable. No, you can't drink it because you're a robot. But he doesn't even consider that, because despite the fact that he's not crazy yet, he's still crazy.
Right.
Yeah, and like they're all the ones that can think are dealing with who wants to live forever to a certain degree. Silent King most of all, because he gets shot with the point of view gun basically straight away as soon as he wakes up from biotransference.
Delightful.
But he's got to win. Yeah, but he's got to win this war now. He has to. And they do, because they're coming back. The Catan are here. The Necrons are totally unified. They can do things with their robot bodies that they couldn't do beforehand. They can apply science on themselves now. They can make use of time dilation to just around a battlefield if you're, say, a guy like Orican the Diviner, whose whole thing is determining probabilities and literal travel through time. Or, yeah, you could do pulling random shit out of your, cloak, like Trazing the Infinite, or controlling the elements of electricity around you, like Imhotep the Stormlord. And just their usual death rays, too. And
Of
they're
course.
also like robot Terminator Man, so they've got a good chance of just punching you to death. So
Gone
yeah,
places.
they're winning. This has gone places. There's Egyptian robot Terminator. There's Egyptian Terminators puppeted by space devils fighting psychic reptiles and their armies of proto orcs and elves and orangutans and
Indeed.
frogs.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. I think we are just about at time.
I was
And
hoping, yeah. I
yeah,
figured we were going over time.
yeah, we are. That was a dangerous request I made. I opened Pandora's box and my head was blown off. And
Oh yeah.
fair enough. You know what? I got exactly that. I just opened the box and it was like blam, no more head. So I
Yeah, it
absolutely
is.
deserved that.
The War in Heaven is a trip and a half, and thankfully, once it's over, it gets to relatively simple things like humans killing stuff for human reasons, but it takes a little while because then we have to go from 59 million years to 7,000 AD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that is about as much as I can take, and we have still not even done the game. So
Yeah.
it is going to be an abbreviated game because we definitely went over time on that. And
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I didn't stop you, and I kept thinking, I was like, okay, this is where it all comes together. No, we are going much further out. What the hell? I think I found what I can definitely read when I have nothing else to do at work. Because it sounds like I'll be reading for a very long time.
Yeah. But the other thing to remember is the wikis lie a lot of the time, or they just get things wrong.
Okay,
You
so
can never beat having a copy of the codex or novels on you.
okay. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Physical material or PDFs are worth their weight in physical material.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
Warhammer is longer than One Piece. Yeah, I guess so. I was not aware of what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, they've
But
been doing it since 1988.
wonderful. That is, I was one. Uh,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That said,
Oh boy.
the butts are in the seats for a little bit of otter punishment, so we're gonna get right into the game. Are you aware of the rules of otterly punishing?
I have to answer all questions in the form of a pun. Puns might not make sense. They might not even be jokes.
That is not exactly right. No.
Oh. Oh boy, this is a good one.
Okay,
Oh boy.
I'm good. I'm all right. That was mean.
I think I got splashed a bit there. Ouch.
Yeah, there was some bear splashback for sure. All right, so I'm gonna. Damn it, Steve. I'm gonna put the pun lead into the box above our heads. It's gonna have an answer. You're gonna give me the punchline. That's how it's gonna work. If you get it right, you win. You get it wrong, you lose. And if you lose, you spin the wheel. Okie dokie.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. Ahem. What is a chicken's least favorite day? Hmm.
A chicken's least favorite day would be Friday.
Hey, first round win. Well done. All right, Josiah Bones coming out hot. Here we go. Spin the wheel. Punish me, my darling beast. Well done. Tell us a joke. Let's see here. So a man and a dog are running along the like a footpath, and the dog's chasing after the man. It's not a nice dog; it's a mean dog. And the man's running, and they don't really notice that they're coming up to a cliff. So the man manages to stop, but the dog runs right past him. The man looks over the cliff and goes, "Huh, doggone."
It is.
That is just the only joke that could come to my head right now. So there you go. That's my joke. All right, swiftly onwards. Why did I break up with the courtroom artist I was dating?
She was sketchy.
Ah, you were paying attention. All right, well done. A little too sketchy. That was the pun of the... Wait, are you in the lounge? You're in the lounge.
What?
Right? That was
I'm sitting on the chair.
All right, fair enough. All right, we're gonna spin the wheel again. All right, he is 2 for 2, folks. Uno reverse. Not so much 2 for 2 anymore. The wheel
no, I'm doing
chooses
the
you.
Thousand Suns thing. Oh, I got zinched.
I don't know what that means.
That's a Warhammer joke.
Okay, that's why I don't know what it means. Alright, we're adding the first bean of the evening to Josiah's side. There we go. Perfectly placed bean.
Now Bean's trapped in the Phantom Zone.
Bean is always within and without the Phantom Zone. Alright, let's see here. Next round. Why do so many people choose to be cremated?
Huh. Why do so many people choose to be cremated?
I remember the bad Otter.
Okay. Well, they're not dying to get in. That's why cemeteries are so popular. Thought you had to be there. That's the Holocaust.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no, that's a Jewish joke. Jewish guy goes to the pearly gates and
yeah. We're gonna bounce off of that one right now.
Okay,
better safe than sorry.
That one.
Better safe than sorry.
Oh shoot! What is cremated? Oh, is it because they're too hot to handle?
Good effort. They heard it was fire. Also a good effort, but not the answers I was looking for. So close. They choose to be cremated because it's their last chance for a smoking hot body.
Oh, okay.
All right, a good, maybe not a great win for me, but still a win. All right, Josiah, you must say something serious in a very ooh-woo voice.
Okay. Here's the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat
Not again.
No.
Okay, you're free. I fold. I can't do it again, man. I can't do it again.
All right, I'll count that as a pass.
Yeah. All right, well done. Moving on. If all dogs go to heaven, where do all cats go?
All cats go wherever they want. They're supposed to use them.
I mean, that's the truth, but we're looking for the joke. Hello?
Okay. If all dogs go to heaven, where do all cats go?
Are you folding? Are you asking the audience?
Well, H.P. Lovecraft would just say the moon, or the dreamlands.
Knock knock. Who's there? It was 44th Millennium. The fuck?
I think it means millennium, but
I don't know what's going on anymore.
whatever Reiko's got it.
So is this what I
Because
sound
the
like?
obvious reversal about cats and dogs would be hell, but I don't think it's hell.
Is that your guess?
Trying to make a joke with catastrophe. No, but that joke with catastrophe. Having catastrophic results there. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna fold on this one.
I'm just like, all right, the cat jokes will end eventually. I'm prepared to wait it out. All right, so if all dogs go to heaven, where do all cats go? They go to purgatory.
I was stuck on limbo, purgatory.
Yep. Cats go to Kathmandu. All right, the round goes to me, and the wheel goes to thee. Okay. There we go. Oh, god damn it. Alright, I deserve that for mocking you. That's fair.
Shared punishment?
Yeah. So we both have to do this next one. I deserved that. I was in the clear and I got too sassy and I got put right back into my place. Alright. We must each sing us one of your favorite songs. Alright, you wanna go first or shall I?
Just give me a sec to look up these lyrics.
All right, in that
so
case,
maybe you should go first.
I'll go first. Let me think. Let's see here. One of my favorite songs. You know, hold on. I'm just gonna pull up my playlist and just see what the hell I've been listening to lately. Like half in and out when I.
If you're gonna take a minute, I did get.
Yeah, go for it.
No sign of life did flicker, tears she cried. All hopes lost can't be undone. They're wasted and gone. Save your speeches right now. That blinders us all. What you want, you will take it away from me. Take it, and I know for sure that light you once brought in is gone forevermore. Soulful seagulls they sang, lost in the deep shade the misty cloud brought. Monstrous it covered the shore, fearful into the unknown. Quietly it crept in new horror, insanity, and spilled the first blood when the old king was slain. Quietly it crept in and changed the soul. Nightfall. Quietly it crept in and changed the soul. Nightfall. Mortal man lies down in agony.
You good?
This one goes for a little while, so
I think,
did you find your thing?
Honestly, I was paralyzed. Wow. This episode has gone places. So we're just
Nightfall by Blind Guardian.
All right. Lower the mic. Yeah.
Oh, I should have been. I'll stand at the other side of out.
Well, if you. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna go with the easy one on this because my brain is completely torched. So, we're gonna go with Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. On that farm he had an otter, E-I-E-I-O. With a my ears here and an my ears there.
Oh shoot! Sorry about that. I'd assume Discord would do the thing it does, and
It did not
actually
do the thing.
autocorrect. Ooh.
That was... We're good. We're okay.
You have my apologies.
It's no worries. No worries. Your microphone was not prepared. And neither were we. All right, I got one more round in me. Let's do one more round.
Ooh,
we're gonna
sorry.
No worries. Final round. Fight. Why did the pony get hurt while playing?
Too much horseplay.
So you're close. You're really, really close. I'm gonna show you the answer I have. All right. So he was horsing around. They were horsing around, Hikaru. Yeah, exactly. Now, this is so close that I no longer trust myself with the answer. So instead, I'm going to ask you, do you feel like you won?
Well, I feel like I was right on that. But I'm not sure if I won.
Well, if you feel you are
I think I won. I rolled the dice.
You think his answer was close enough? If the horse was at the baby? God damn it, Raiko. All right, so then we will call out a win for you and a loss for me. Let's see what the wheels got in store for the final round. That, like I said, that was so close. I will genuinely accept your answer that you feel it's close enough. Buffo. Let's see here. Make an assumption about the other person. I believe you own at least 2 canes.
I own 0 canes.
Damn.
But I have a stick that I walk with sometimes.
Well, that's cane-ish. I'm talking like I have at least 2 walking sticks myself. Like, I don't necessarily walk with them, but I got them. So that's just stick and cane are not the same thing. All right, fair enough. All right, but like, I don't know. I'm not talking like, I'm not saying whether you do or don't need a cane for traversal. I'm talking just like cool canes.
Oh, I have 0 cool canes.
You beat with a stick.
I often with the cane, yeah. I often consider getting a cool cane because cool canes are cool.
That's exactly right. Exactly. There you go. That's all I'm saying. Or you decorate because candy cane. I would like the cane. Are they as cool as bow ties? Bow ties are cool. This is true.
No. Bow ties are cool.
Oh, that was the last punishment of the last round. So, that is it for us tonight. Josiah, thank you for being my guest. Thank you for very much melting my brain with Warhammer lore. I was arrogant in my youth, and I have been disavowed of that innocence.
I just wish we got to a part that has identifiable character.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah. Also, sorry for the ear damage, everybody.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. I was just like, I don't know what to do now. But no worries. Ears grow back, but glory is forever. Josiah, thank you for being my guest. Anything you would like to hype up, shout out, or promote while you are here?
Everybody watch Otter TV on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Reiko Star's YouTube channel on Fridays. Check out the Pontius on YouTube. He's a Warhammer 40k lore channel. He's Italian, and he goes into incredible detail on a lot of things, including when the wikis lie. Or just get things wrong. He might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think he's pretty neat.
You know what? Everybody likes their things. Very cool. Very cool.
And watch Dungeon Meshi on Netflix.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, Josiah, thank you so much for being my guest. That is going to be it from us for tonight. So until next time, one and all, we are Otter here. Good night.